Good. So as we get our bodies settled, laying back, start to let some huge breaths begin to flow through your body. Such a nice chance just to breathe. Check in with how we are at this moment. Happiness to be present, to be practicing together. I love certain times of the year that invite us to start anew, to begin afresh, to look at our life, our goals, our hopes, our dreams. And especially New Year, this time of year, is such a beautiful opportunity for us to do that, to evaluate where we are, where we want to be. And sometimes it seems like there's a huge gap between those places where we are and where we want to be. And so today's class, we imagine that gap, and by us stretching, growing a bit longer, we're able to fill in that gap just a little bit. Rather than it seeming like the Grand Canyon, something impossible to traverse in one great leap, we imagine lengthening our stride, kind of becoming the person who could step from that past self into that future self we're visualizing. And so that lengthening of our stride, that just extending ourselves a little bit further today than we did yesterday, that's the intention that will lead us into our practice today. Lots of stretches, especially for hamstrings. Also goodies like heart, quads, all those other goodies. And so with these ideas to help lead us into our beautiful practice today, let's start off with our initial stretches. Allow arms to extend all the way to the back wall. And let shoulders wiggle to the right. Shoulders wiggle to the left. A couple of good rounds to each direction. This opens up ribs, shoulders, feel the breath deepening. Good. Let's return back through the center and take our right knee into the chest. With right knee in, do some ankle rolls, loosen up any tightness there. Good. Extend right leg up to sky. Grab on, pull it in. Then our first hip opener for this right leg, we're hooking right foot to the back left edge of fabric, sliding it in kind of like pigeon pose. If you need to peek at others to see what we're doing, go right ahead and peek. And allow that hip some space. Two more huge cycles, just presence here. And start to free out this leg. Drop it down, left knee into chest, give it a hug. Some ankle rolls can be beautiful. Leg extending up to sky, like hello hamstring. These are the big focus today, helping them out. Good. Hook left heel to back right for the hip opener. Slide the shin in, just give it some time. One more huge inhale. Exhale, let's free out this leg. Drop it down. Good. So leave the legs inside, but the hands help us to sit the torso up. So grab on with the hands, torso rises. We're preparing for a back bend. So let the fabric come down to maybe the shoulder blade area, or even further, makes the back bend deeper to waist area, you choose. But once we've kind of got the fabric down our back, start slipping the fabric down your hands and take a little bit of a back bend of the spine past the back edge. Hands on makes it less intense. Hands releasing makes it deeper, you choose. Take 2 more full cycles of breath. Huge inhales. Nice exhales. Like opening our heart to the future possibilities. Good. When you're ready to come back in, grab on. Start letting the head easy roll up. And then bring the arms forward and through, stretching toward the toes. Especially let chin drop down to chest. Feel that counter stretch. This is the spine in the exact opposite shape of what we were just doing. Spine can be like a big bridge that takes us across that traverse. Another good inhale. And exhale, the feet kick free off the front. The hands come to this back edge of the fabric, slide it down. This one we do care about where it falls. Usually we want it to be about where our pants come on the spot behind us. So push the fabric down to that spot and leaning back, it'll lock it in place. Regroup on for safety. Good. Then wide legs, wrap the feet around. Wide legs means you won't fall out. Good. Let that spine have some time just to lengthen. This is a cool thing about aerial yoga is we can get length by hanging, by using gravity. So it's like that bridge we were talking about. You can physically stretch the muscles of the back, or you can also do this, just hang for a little while. Now, especially if you're pretty new to inverting, don't feel like you have to force it as long as anybody else. If you want to come out, go right ahead and come on out. Just help me know if you don't remember how to come out, you're not sure. But for as long as it does feel good, feel free just to hang. Those that want to relax just a little bit longer, take another maybe 4 or 5 breaths. Then eventually we'll all gently meet, coming out. We just grab onto the fabric by inner thighs, unwind the legs as we help ourselves up. Taking elbows, we can lean forward, floating child pose. Pull the shoulders, try to inch their way closer to the thighs. That gives that back muscular length. Sitting up, let's add even more length to the back. We're bunching up the fabric that points you away from me, so points you to the door that you're closest to. Bunch up the fabric to that cuff. The shoulder that's closer to the mountain painted wall behind you, open that shoulder to that side or circle that hand behind the head. So this twist, adding length, not compression. So if you feel like you're hunching and then twisting, that's not quite the length we're looking for. Think of spine lifting up to then spiral around. One more breath in and out. Good. Release this half. Bunch up fabric to the other half. So to have us all pointing to the center, we're going to use that in just a moment. But once again, that twist, so the arm that's closer to that mountain painted wall stretches open or circles around the backside of head. Lengthen spine up to spiral around. One more good inhale. Exhale. Now release the hand that's behind you or stretching to the back. We're bunching up the fabric in front of us again. Lock the arms straight. The hip that just got lifted, that leg is going to swing up and over to bring us to a straddle. We're going to take both heels inside the fabric, bringing the legs out to a wide figure V sit. And we do actually want to be in the center of this. So if you've got one foot sticking out, the other foot has a ton of extra fabric, what you're going to do to help recenter it is manipulate the fabric so the feet are equal, and then extending them back out, grab onto the fabric in front of you, lift up for a moment, and then sitting the hips back down, your fabric should be readjusted so that you're centered. So that'll help us out where we're headed. Let the arm strength push the legs open wider. Try to engage core to sit up taller. Already we're starting to bridge gaps. Expanding the legs open from one possibility to the next. Beautiful. So we're going to take a pigeon pose to the mirror side. So the knee that's closer to mirror bends in. Dive the arms through that end of the fabric so you can see the mirror. And then each hand has to find each end of fabric on the left and the right. Once you have an end, you're able to lift the hips up so that the back leg can swivel all the way around behind. Good. Release the effort of the hips such that front knee goes more forward, back knee goes more backward. And I'll usually have the shoulder that's over the toes in the front free. So Dylan, you've got the back foot in front, kind of like a lotus. Instead, take it behind, so it kind of looks like that. Breath. Swing it all the way behind. So in this case, your right foot needs to circle all the way around to the back wall. That's it, that's it. Yep, even further. So lift yourself up higher. Yep, and then swing that leg all the way to the back wall. That's it. You got it. Good. Give that hip just 2 more breaths. Okay, then we're gonna practice our first variation of half split. So hands find those 2 ends of the front part again and come to kneel on your back knee. So once you're upright kneeling, front leg extends forward. Slide the hands down that front long ankle to bring the heart closer to the thigh. That's a nice half split. I'll give 2 options for those that want more than the half split. You could either slide the hands up and also sink weight forward, or come up to stand and then sink the legs open into split. So I'll let you choose which variation of split you want to be in. Yeah, don't let the foot slip out if you're doing the standing. But it needs to still be in. That's it. Still got some people playing around finding their spot, so let's take about 4 more breaths wherever we are. More good inhale. Exhale. Torso comes up. This front hip that was just our front leg for pigeon. Rock your weight all the way onto that side. Swivel the knees open. We should be back at the wide straddle. So once again, make sure your feet are centered. If you need to do that thing where you get the fabric right and then you lift up, straighten the legs back out, that's perfectly fine. But use arm strength to press the legs wide. Good, and let's take the second half. So this will be pigeon pose to the back wall. Bend that back knee in. And then each hand has to find the 2 ends, the left and right ends of the fabric to that back half. Once you have that grip, you're able to lift your hips up off the fabric to swivel the leg all the way around behind you. Good, maybe the shoulder over those front toes to this side, freeze out. Our huge breath flows in and out. Our hands need to find the left and right sides of this end again. We're kneeling on the back knee. Once we're kneeling, the front leg straightens out in front of us. Just sliding the hands down that long hypotenuse toward the foot is the easy half split. Sending any weight forward makes it deeper to full splits. You can do that with hands down or hands up. There's also the standing version where you come to stand on the back foot to sink down. So lots of options. Play with what's going to work on this half. One more breath in. And out. And we're gonna come back down to sit in that wide straddle. So the hip that was front on this side, rock onto it, swivel the legs open, nice and wide. Take 2 more breaths, arms bend, pressing the legs wide. And let's unwind all the way forward. So come back to knees. Bunch the fabric back up. The leg that's closer to the back wall needs to swing up and over so we can face the mirror again. And recenter hips. Beautiful. Before we head out of fabric, let's take the vampire splits. I'm gonna guide you into the first half. If you get stuck at all, just kind of sit there like you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'll be by as soon as I got everybody at least on the first half. So with vampire, this fabric that's behind you comes up. It needs to be one good, complete covering over the shoulder, but not a lot of excess, otherwise it pushes in the neck. The elbows, the point of them is to bring that gathered fabric down into the waist, and then I can lay back. My feet step in. I need to take the excess from my waist to my feet, so I lift the hips up, extend the legs out. That gives me a little bit of a blanket. I need that excess blanket over my right foot, and then left foot free. Okay? So right foot inside the little blanket by our feet, right foot in, left foot out. Hands grip up high, left and right. The feet come to that gathered fabric above where our hands are. You're gonna press into the fabric to rise upside down. Again, if you get stuck, just pause wherever you are and I'll be by in a moment. But your clothed foot, your right foot comes down to the space in front of your chest. Once you've got it so it can't go any further down, then you're safe to step left foot to floor, sink your weight back, you're in splits. So I'll be by to help anybody who needs it. Awesome. Stay with this one. Let's see. Yeah. Further. Those that have been in for a little while, you're welcome to switch legs whenever you're ready. You can switch by stepping this foot into the pocket and then just dropping the other foot down. You can also just roll all the way back in. The arms need to straighten it. Like that. Shoulder. Good. Make sure you spend about equal time on both sides. Those that have been in the second side about equal, you can just play with the rest of vampire or switch a couple more times back and forth. If anyone feels stuck at all, just wave at me. You guys are looking good. Good. We're about that point. About half of us are out. So those that are still in vampire, take your last couple of breaths, maybe 3 or 4 more rounds, and then slowly start easing your way into the recovery pose, either shavasana for a little while or back up to the floating child. You're helping me know where you're at when you're just coming up to sit all the way naturally, comfortably. That helps me know you're ready to move on. Until you reach that point where you actually feel ready, just lay back for a little while longer. Good. Okay. So always know if you need a little bit more rest time after inversions. That's always fine to just kind of rest for a little while longer and then join us later. But those of us that are ready to come up and out, we take the arms to the outside of fabric, grab on, lifting the hips, we can just come back up to stand. So from here, let's take pyramid, front foot forward, back foot back. Let's allow the arms to open left and right. Lean forward until the fabric wraps around your triceps. Bicep area, and then allow that front knee to bend and then straighten. It's a couple of pulses to allow that hamstring to have some length. So here's another 2. Good. One more time, bend. And then when it straightens, stay in that spot where you feel that right hamstring stretch. Soften the knees, roll the spine up. We're gonna grab on. I'm gripping about head height. We're gonna try to do a little core thing, coming up through the center and then switching legs. Good, open arms back out, 2 straight legs. Lean straight forward. So we're leaning to the extent that spine is not rounded. Spine is like that bridge stretching forward. And then the front knee takes a bent shape and re-straighten. Repeat 2. One more time, pulse with bent. And when we get to that straight length, pause. Right at that point, you feel the stretch. Good. Soften the knees, roll the spine up. Again, grab around head height. This time, the knees come together and then land right underneath you. Good. Bring the elbows into the middle of the fabric, and then the hands grab around to kind of capture the elbows inside. So once the elbows are inside, start taking the elbows into the waist. Start bending your knees, and then you're pushing your elbows down so that the shoulders don't hike up to ears. Maybe a couple of steps forward with the feet so that we feel like we're under plumb line with this upper body. So 5 times we're gonna try our best. Option 1 would be just trying to lift the knees up and down from here. Option 2, a little harder, would be bent knees underneath us. We're trying to do a full crunch and then back down. So repeating 4. And 3, and 2, and 1. Good. Now bring the right foot in front of you, left foot behind you, back to that straight leg position. Open the arms out wide. I'm gripping kind of like a figure Y above my head, and then I'm rotating my shoulders down and back so that I have some support as I lean forward to that straight leg. This gets me a little bit into a shoulder stretch, but even deeper into that nice pyramid pose. So front leg trying to go straight. Good. Beautiful. Start to rise your way up. Try to keep it soft through your shoulders. You're welcome to keep the grip about where it is. See if you can do a little crunch to switch the legs. Good. And again, figure Y above the head. Rotate the shoulders forward. And then that grip keeps us with balance as we lean. Huge inhale. Exhale. Shoulders comfortably unwind to bring us back up. One more little hop to bring our feet underneath us. Good. Fabric out in front. Very minimal grip after what we were just doing. So just enough to have hands here in front, holding it about as wide as shoulders, if not slightly wider. Upper body goes forward. Try to have a nice straight spine like a bridge. Sway over to the front door for a moment. Sway over to back door. One more time front. One more time back. Good. Back forward, soften the knees, roll the spine up. We're taking our right ankle inside fabric. Nice hamstring stretch. Some of us might slide hands down to take heart closer to thigh. Some of us might slide hands up to take splits. Your choice. Torso comes up. We're gripping both hands on left strand. Turn left toes to the left. Left hand slides up. Right hand slides down that left strand. If it's enough to just keep body weight over your standing leg here, that's fine. If you want to sink more weight to mirror, that's fine. Okay, back over standing leg, just right hand stays on that same one. Do another 90-degree turn to face to the back wall. We've got that right foot hooked in the fabric. Let's grip one hand on each side. Armpits are free. A little hop backwards will help us feel more in balance. Okay, quad stretch first. So fabric is just resting on the back side of each shoulder. And lean backwards into quad stretch. So armpits free. Good. So just by leaning backwards, that right knee is pointing down and that should be in that quad stretch. Okay, dancer. Take your body over your standing leg. The elbows point to the back wall. That means the shoulders are engaged. And then as you start to lean forward, you kick the foot into the fabric. That creates the nice back foot shape. Open that heart space. Feel the heart coming forward and through. Good. One more inhale. Exhale, rise back up. We're softly going to drop the hands to the floor, so wait till you have balance. And as the hands go down, try to straighten both legs. Walk the hands backwards. This is another version of splits. Good. Walk the hands to the other end of the mat. That left knee is going to drop down. If you sink your weight directly back without swiveling the toes in, that's more of a lunge shape for the psoas. If you want more into the hip, swivel the left toes in, and that'll take you more into pigeon pose. So you get to choose. You're welcome to drop to elbows if you like. Now let yourself roll to face the back door, so you should have left hip on the ground. Slide the left leg back long on the ground. Left elbow is underneath the shoulder. Right hand is pushing into the ground. We're going to try to lift the hips up and down 3 times. Just hip lift could be enough. The other foot on the floor. If you want to make it harder, once your hips lift, you'll also lift floating the left leg. So step 1 is hips lift up, maybe left leg floats. Good, back down. 2 more, hip, maybe foot, and down. Last one, hip, maybe foot, and down. Roll onto your back. Slide the left leg long. So 5 times. We push the right heel into the ground. Bring the left knee in for your kind of like knee to nose. And then hips back to earth. Slide the left leg back to ground. Good. Hips up, knee in. And hips down, leg long. Here's another 3. And 2. And 1. Good. Now keep the hips on the ground. Bring that left knee into chest. Clasp around the knee, pull it in. Good. Lengthen left leg up to sky. Grab onto it. Either straight leg or bent knee crosses over the body. So left knee to the right takes it into a twist. A good inhale. Exhale, unwind the hips to floor. 2 ways to come up and out for second side. Option 1, easy, just step the feet to the floor, grab fabric, stand up. Option 2 is trying to come into a swing. So you'll need to scoot yourself right under plumb line. Bring the fabric up to the back side of knees. Do a little crunch to grab onto fabric. Continue to walk the hands up the fabric. Send the hips through in a swing, and then you can pop out free of the front, standing. Reset yourself behind. Good work. Now it takes a lot more effort, so good job. Left ankle in. Okay, so splits. Maybe the hands go down, just easy. Maybe the hands go up, full split forward. Back over body. Grab just onto right strand. Bring the right toes to the right. The right hand is higher, sliding up. Left hand slides down. Maybe you're happy right where you're at. Maybe you're sinking more weight to mirror. One more breath in and out. Come over standing leg. Keep the left hand on that same strand for safety. One more 90-degree turn. Faces us to back wall. A hand on each side and a hop backwards brings us 4 under plumb line. Face back wall, the knees bent down. You got it. Okay. So a hand on each side. This one's quad. So just bring the fabric to touch the back side of shoulders and lean backwards. Weight over standing leg. Dancer's pose. Engage the shoulders by pointing elbows to back wall. Lean forward, and then kick the foot into the fabric. Feel that good heart opening. Beautiful. Weight back over the center. Find your balance and then drop hands to floor. 2 straight legs. Walking the hands backwards sinks us a little deeper in splits. Good. Walking the hands to that back end of mat. Soften the right knee to floor. If you just sink straight back, that's more of that psoas stretch for left. If you swivel the toes in, it's also hip opener for right. So you choose. You're welcome to lower to elbows. Okay, rolling open to front door side. You've got your right hip on the floor. Slide the right leg long. 3 hip lifts. Maybe the foot also rises, your choice. So you've got the right elbow underneath you, left hand pushing into the ground. When you're ready, hips lift. 3, maybe foot. And down. 2. Down. 1. Good. Roll onto your back. Slide the right leg long to start. And hips lift off the ground like bridge. Right knee comes to nose. And hips down, slide the leg down. Let's repeat that. 4. 3. 2. 1. Good. Keeping hips on the ground. Right knee comes in. Give it a hug. Right leg stretches up to sky. Hands help with that hamstring. Straight leg or bent knee, twist. Right knee crosses over the body to left. Good. Easing out. Same two options. This is kind of our last little core thing if you want to do it again. But you could just stand up or bring the knees into the fabric. Do a crunch to grab on. And then try to walk your hands up, send the legs through. You're sitting on a swing. Good job. Yep. We do get massages in aerial. That is true. It gets better over time. Okay. So I'm going to guide into one last inversion. This will be the what's it called? Hip hang with the splits. So I'll guide you into that. If you only want to be like in the splits for a little while and then take a different inversion as your last one, that's fine too, whatever you like. But take the fabric across your hip bones. Don't let it go into guts. So sometimes I'll go on tippy toes just to make sure it's good. Then walk forward to take any slack out. Lean forward, bending at the waist. Start to drop the hands down. Several steps backwards to take hips under plumb line. Good. Okay. So Dylan, one more step back. One more. Good. Okay, so it's like downward facing dog. So from this spot, right leg goes wide to remind you to wrap around outside of fabric. So wrap it around that pole. Good. Other foot, if it's on the floor, is like standing split. So then you can slide the right leg up. If you're hovering that leg, you can just grab onto the leg in the floating version of this. So your choice. It'll be kind of like the splits we did earlier, where you're gonna choose about how long to be on one side before you switch. This one's another massage across hips, so if you need to come in and out, that's okay. Good. So kind of just pay attention. If you're there for like 5 breaths, take the second side 5 breaths. If you're there 10 breaths, make sure both sides 10. It's up to you, basically, how long to stay. And after you've done both sides, I'm not rushing you. If you want to hang a little bit longer here, that's fine. At any point, you're also welcome to come to Shavasana. This is more or less the time I would normally bring you out. So it's up to you, basically, how long you want to be for that in that hip hang. So anybody who wants anything else, take it. Anybody who's ready for Shavasana at any point, wave it out the fabric. Take about half the fabric in your hands. And then you can just lay down. So I'm not rushing you though. Keep on enjoying any things that you're in. And as it's going to be natural for some people to settle into Shavasana much sooner than others, just note when you're about ready for your Shavasana, as you're laying back, just breathing comfortably, let your mind return back to that idea of the bridge. Think of all this length we've created in our body, how our body's much more willing to bridge across huge crevices now. Allow your breath to flow. And just visualize the image of a bridge. Maybe it's like a rainbow bridge, kind of connecting your chakras from root all the way up to crown. Maybe it's more of a physical bridge you've seen in real life. However you like to visualize it. Imagine that bridge And all you have to do is just breathe for the next few minutes together. No rush, just relaxing, breathing, settling down. Here we're going to begin to work our way out. Start by just taking a couple of really good deep breaths. Sometimes I'll let the arms extend back to that back wall again, letting shoulders wiggle left and right. Sometimes I'll take a fetal position. I do that by keeping the body long and then rolling onto one hip stacks on top of the other hip. From there, I can curl in like a tight little ball and arc the spine back. So if that feels good, take it. If not, leave it. If I'm doing fetal, I may do 2 or 3 to one side and then 2 or 3 to the other side, just to help keep my spine nice and centered, nice and even. sooner or later, when everything feels like you've kind of woken it up, you're back here to presence. Let's start to make our way up to a comfortable seated place. Putting hands together in front of heart. We'll reconnect to that image of the bridge, that image of our past and our future selves being those 2 points that we're connecting in the splits. And imagine by our work today, we helped to lengthen our stride. We helped to make that leap a little bit more possible. Like we can almost reach that future self now. So with each day, just lengthening our stride a little bit, working on extending those possibilities. With this to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. Om. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste. Namaste.